Joining us on set is Ibrahim Fraihat. He's Associate Professor of Conflict Resolution at the Doha Institute. Good to have you back on Al Jazeera.
Thank you.
Bezalel Smoritch is known for making statements like this. His statements are very often incendiary. What's interesting perhaps about this is the degree of reaction that we're seeing to that.
Yes, let's first remember, first of all, that Smoritch made similar statements in the past. So this is not the first time that he has made such statements. In March 2023, 7 months before the October 7th attack, he called openly to wipe out the city of Hawara in the West Bank. 20,000 people live there. And after he made this statement, he was received in the United States, he was received in France with no serious reaction from Western governments to such statements. This encouraged him to make such outrageous statements and now calling openly for the starvation of 2 million people. What changed now that we are seeing such a strong reaction from Washington, D.C., France, and the UK is that these statements are now threatening U.S. interest that's focused now on reaching a ceasefire to prevent a regional confrontation in the Middle East, so the U.S. can focus more on China and Russia and all of that. So for such statement, for this reason, we are seeing this reaction. But also let's keep in mind that what we're seeing from Western governments, it's all rhetorical. No action, no policies have been taken by Western governments to such statements, openly calling for the starvation of 2 million people. You can imagine if a Palestinian official made similar statements, how would the reaction and action that will be taken by Western governments against such statements? But this is what we're seeing now, and this is the kind of keeping or providing lip service to such outrageous statements, openly calling for a genocide of 2 million people. This encourages him to even go more in the future with no serious reaction or no serious action is taken against him for making such statements.
I want to ask you about your assessment of the dynamic, if you like, between Benjamin Netanyahu and the far-right elements of his coalition. Now, for a long time, there has been, in some quarters, an assumption that he is, to some degree, held hostage by them, that he has to carry out certain actions in order to be able to appease them. In your opinion, is that the correct interpretation of the dynamic, the relationship between Benjamin Netanyahu and his side of the coalition and the far right?
Thank you for this question, because this is absolutely the biggest lie, the biggest myth that Netanyahu successfully sold to Western governments, that he's held a hostage by the far-right individuals in his government, Smoritch and Ben Gvir. This is false. This is a big lie that he sold it to them, because in many times during this war, the opposition leader Yair Lapid delivered or provided a safety net for his government, telling him to Netanyahu, go for a ceasefire, go for a prisoners exchange, and we will protect you. We're providing a safety net. So you won't be blackmailed by Smoritch and Ben Gvir. What he did, Netanyahu, he neglected, he ignored it, he did not take the offer. Many times has been made by Yair Lapid, the opposition leader, but he acted nothing of that. But on the contrary, actually, Netanyahu is using and abusing the existence of Smoritch and Ben Gvir in his own government to blackmail Western governments, particularly the U.S., and whenever he wants to use them, he uses them in order to show or to provide justification for the U.S. government. I'm unable to do this. My government will collapse. Smoritch and Ben Gvir will leave the government. And unfortunately, Western governments are believing him and ignoring the serious offers made by the opposition leaders. So he has been, Netanyahu, a master in manipulating the far-right individuals in his government and U.S. governments, playing with all of them in order to escape the pressure from the U.S. wanting to reach a ceasefire and using escalation statements whenever he needed by them. So any dirty work that he would like to sell to the world, he directs it to Smoritch and Ben Gvir, that they are happily accept to do so. So this is the game that he has been playing. Western governments, unfortunately, know this and know this very well, but they stay unable or unwilling. Actually, unwilling is the thing. To take action and not be falling into this kind of a trap that he is trying to sell them and manipulating and accepting the manipulation that he is using them for.
It's good to get your analysis on this. Ibrahim Fraihat, thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you.